in class tonight, what are we doing? Okay, let's make sure we can go onto our screen. So tonight we are doing exam glow up part 2. So I'm assuming that you guys did exam glow up part 1 on Monday, okay? And we are doing exam glow up part 2 tonight. And from what I understand about exam glow up is you guys have been breaking down the exam questions, looking at some more challenging, not hard, because maths is not hard, it's challenging, hey? Looking at some challenging exam questions, all right? And trying to solve them together. So our first question says to us, sketch the following graphs for x as an element from negative 180 to 180. So for some of you, okay, we're in grade 10, all right? And for some of us, maybe we haven't done negative graphs yet. Okay, so I get that. Maybe you've only just introduced graphs yet, okay? Or maybe you've just only introduced graphs when it comes to trig. And I completely get that. So if you're looking at this and you're like, ma'am, what are they talking about? What is this negative 180 to 180? Awesome, I get that, cool. Maybe it's a bit confusing, all right? What I'd like you to go do is I'd like you guys to try, okay? Trying is the best way of learning, all right? So I'm going to just draw what a negative 180 to 180 graph would look like on the screen very quickly, okay? And in the meantime, what I'd like you guys to do is I would like you to just have a look and just try to see how you would plot this graph for me. So if I'm looking at this, okay, I'm going to try and make it a little bit bigger for you guys. I'm just going to draw the graph quick. I would have my line here. And remember, when we're drawing a graph, it's the same as a number line, guys. So we're literally drawing a number line, okay? So, oh dear, why does my screen keep going weird, teacher Nelly? Oh, that's weird. Okay, sorry guys. Okay, so we're drawing a number line. So if I was drawing a number line, I'd have my y-axis going that way. And let's go draw my number line this way. Obviously, you guys are going to go and use a ruler. I don't have a ruler, sorry. Okay, so there's my ruler, all right? This would be my y. Oh my. This is going to be my x over here. Oh no, this is going to keep happening, guys. I'm so sorry. I'm going to try as best I can to keep it from doing that. Okay, so there's my y, there's my x. All right. It wants me to go from negative 180 all the way to 80. Okay, so we know when we do graphs, all right, normally if we're looking at graphs, we're looking at like the quadrants kind of vibe, okay? And if we're looking at quadrants, okay, quadrants are normally in 90 degrees.
Yeah, that's okay.
That's better, hey? Okay, right, here we go. So there's my y, there's my x. I've got 90 degrees, I've got 180 degrees. Okay, so if I'm doing a number line, when I go into my negatives, okay, when I go into my negatives, I'm going to go, here's my 0, I'm going to go this way. So I'll have negative 90, and I'll have negative 180. All right. I want to remind you guys, so far in grade 10, what you've probably seen so far when you've done graphs is you've probably in grade 10 done this way, you've done 90, you've done 180, you've done 270, and you've done 360. All right, so all this is now is what have they gone and done, guys? They've just gone and they've extended it and they've put the negatives. That's all that's happened here. They've put some negatives in. Okay, so that's all that's happened. They've put some negatives in, all right? I want you guys to go and to try. So I'm going to give you another 2 or 3 minutes, all right, to go and try and plot that onto this graph. Even if it means you draw your full graph, okay, so that you practice drawing that, and then I show you how to put it on the negative, I want you guys to try for me. Okay, so go try that for me so long. All right, while you're trying that for me so long, I am going to go and copy this all across onto another screen for you guys. so that we can make sure that we are getting a full screen here. Okay. It's okay to get it wrong. Remember, as long as you are trying, it's all good. Okay, as long as you're trying. All right, there are the questions back for you guys. So we are plotting those three graphs. Onto the negative 180 is to 180. All right. Okay. All right, guys. Let's have a look. Okay, let's have a look. So, like I said to you, okay, we're going to start with the graph y is equal to sine x first. Okay, so if I'm looking at this graph, okay, I'm going to start, I'm going to draw it down here for you guys. All right, by looking at the amplitude of my graph. So what's actually hiding before this x? What's hiding here? There's a number 1 hiding there, which means that this graph is going up to 1 and it's going to go down to negative 1 here. So for my y values, it's going up to 1 and it's going down to negative 1. There's nothing weird happening here. I'm not timesing the graph by 2. I'm not doing anything strange. 1, negative 1, nice plain graph. Right. We said before, when we're looking at the intervals for the graph, okay, because this is a negative 180 to 180 graph, right? And now our pen is doing strange things as well. We're really not having a good time here at this. Sorry, guys. Okay, because this is the kind of graph that is a negative 180 is to 180 graph. All right. We're going in intervals of 90 degrees. So we're going to have 90, and we're going to have 180 degrees. Now, when you're in your exam, or hopefully when you're in the test as well, your teachers will actually probably give you a really nice format for this already. Okay, so there should be in your extra little bits and pieces, you should actually be given this already. If they don't though, it's really nice for you to get practice on drawing these. All right. I said to you guys, we're drawing a negative graph. So remember, this is going to be 0. Here we're going to have negative 90 degrees and negative 180 degrees. We're going to start with our sine graph, guys. We're going to start with our sine graph. So I'm going to start by doing the positive side first because we know how to do that. All right. You guys all have calculators on you. I'm really hoping you have calculators here for this lesson. All right. You can either use your calculator to do this. Okay. If you really struggle. Okay. So you can use your calculator. Or what you can do is you can go and you can have learned it off by heart. All right. Either way, up to you, whichever way you do it. So on your calculator, okay, you can go and put in sine 0 equals, and when you put in sine 0 equals, what is it going to give you? Sine 0 equals, guys. While you're doing that, Leah's asking me, ma'am, how do you know we're using 90 degrees? So how do you know you're using 90 degrees? When you're doing mapping onto a graph, you're always going to use 90 degrees intervals, except for if you're doing a tan graph, which we're going to look at to do a different one. All right, sine of 90 degrees equals 0, guys. Well done. I'm going to plot it in a blue pen for you. So sine of 0 equals 0. So that's where my first point is going to go. All right, next one you're going to put in your calculator, sine 90. Put sine of 90 onto your calculator. Sine 90, guys. Sine 90, good. Sine of 90, so here's my 90. I go up to 90. Sine of 90 gives me 1. Sine 90 gives me 1. Good. All right. Then on my calculator, sine 180, guys. Sine 180. What does sine 180 give you? Good. Sine of 180 gives you 0. So far, if I join these up, I'm going to go there. I'm going to go there. And I'm going to go there. Do I use a calculator? I mean, not calculator. Do I use a ruler when I'm joining up a graph, a trig graph? Do I use a ruler? Yes or no? Am I using a ruler for trig graphs, guys? No, good. No rulers for trig graphs. Okay. We want nice bended graphs. Okay, nice bended graphs. Well done. Now we need to go to the other side. We have calculators. All right, we have calculators. So on your calculators, we're going to go this way now. So on your calculator, you're going to put sine, open bracket, negative 90, close bracket equals. Go put that on your calculator for me. Sine, open bracket, negative 90, close bracket. What do you get? Good, negative 1, guys. Well done. All right, negative 1. Well done. All right, we need to do negative 180. We're going to use the brackets again. So we're going to say sine, open brackets, negative 180, close brackets. What do you get? What do you get? 0. Well done, guys. 0. And now we're going to join it up. Nice. Okay. So I had a question here that I saw. I'm going to ask somebody if they can answer it for me. It was a little bit earlier on. Somebody was asking me, ma'am, how do you know we're going from negative 180 to 180? Who can tell me? Who wants to lift their hand and tell me? How do we know that we must go from negative 180 to 180? Who's going to tell me and help me answer their friend? How do I know I must go from negative 180 to 180? Who's going to tell me? Rafilwe. Rafilwe, can you tell me?
Ma'am, because the sum said x is element of negative 180 and 180.
Fantastic. Well done. Thank you so much, Rafiwe. All right, guys, we must always make sure that we are looking at the instructions. The instructions said, go from negative 180 all the way to 180. So that's what we did on our graph. All right. Okay, what's the last thing we must do? I'm sure that Coco always says to you guys, Teacher Coco, when you have a graph, what's the last thing you must do for your graph? You must always label it. So this is the graph. Y is equal to sine of x. Okay. All right. Now, we've done the sine graph. Okay. Now you guys have seen how to do the sine graph. Can you maybe go and do the cos graph for me? Now you know how to do the sine graph with the negatives. It was really easy. I'm sure that you guys agree with me. It was really not so bad. Can you go do the cos graph for me? Okay, do the cos graph with the negatives. Go try that out for me. Go try it out for me. I'm going to give you 2 minutes. All right. I see somebody's asking, ma'am, am I in the grade 10 lesson? Yes, you're in the right place. You're in the grade 10 lesson. Coco is just not here at the moment, but she is coming back on Monday, I promise. It's load shedding at the moment, so she was having some load shedding issues. So yes, promise, Coco is back on Monday. You are in the right place. Ma'am, please scroll up a little so I can see the instruction again. Of course, there we go. All right, you got 1 minute left to draw that cos graph. Okay. All right, guys. Are we ready to have a look? Okay. So let's have a look at the cos graph, which I'm sure that you guys have got this. Okay, I'm sure you've got this. Let's go see. I'm going to go draw the cos graph like here-ish on the side. If you drew the cos graph on the same graph that you drew the sine graph on, cool, that's fine. If you guys can see that, that's all right. I'm good with that. Okay, I'm going to draw it on a separate graph so that you guys can see it nice and clearly. Okay, I'm going to draw my graph with a black pen and then I'll draw it in a different color for you. So there is my x-axis, there is my y-axis. So y, x. Again, there's my 0. I've got 90 degrees. I've got 180 degrees. I've got negative 90 degrees. I've got negative 180 degrees. Don't forget to go and label the y-axis as well. I've got 1. I've got negative 1. All right, taking care of my graph. Now it's time to go and plot. I'm doing the cos graph, so on my calculator, okay, you can start where you want to start. I like to start in the positive numbers and then go to the negative numbers. Depends on where you want to start. That's just my way that I like to do it, okay? So you would then always, guys, another exam tip, okay? When you are drawing your graphs in a test or exam, you always draw your graph with a pencil, hey? Okay, so use a pencil to draw your graphs, to plot your graphs. All right. Why do you plot them in pencil? It's so that you can erase them if you make a mistake or fix them up or something like that. You do not use a red pen. Okay, in your exams, no red, no green. All right, no red, no green. Okay, so you can use a blue pen, a black pen, no red, no green, especially in your exams. Please, 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 please. All right, let's get going. So we're doing the cos graph. So on your calculator, cos 0 equals, let's go, cos 0 equals Well done. Cos of 0 equals 1. Okay. Cos of 0 equals 1. Right. Well done, guys. Cos 90 on your calculator. Cos 90 equals, what's cos of 90? Nice, guys. Well done. 90 cos 90 equals 0. Well done. Okay. And finally, cos 180. What's cos 180? Nice. -1. Okay. So on this side, I'll have this kind of thing going on. Okay. All right. Back on our calculators. Cos, open bracket, -90, close bracket, equals. Cos, -90, close brackets, equals. Well done. So much interaction in the chat. I'm loving it. Well done, guys. -90. Well done. Equals 0. Good. Okay. Cos, open brackets, -180, close brackets, equals. Let's see your chat. Let's see. Well done. Nice. -1. So -180 is to -1. So we're going this way and that way. Oh, a little bit of a mess. Sorry. Let's take them back. Like that. Am I done? You guys tell me, am I done? Is that full marks? Am I getting full marks? What am I doing? Am I getting full marks? Well done, Kelly. Caitlin, I'm not getting full marks. Good, I'm not getting full marks. Why not? What am I missing? What am I missing? Good, well done, guys. I am missing a label. Nice, well done. Yo, this class. So I'm missing a label. Y is equal to cos x. Yo, nice, well done. Y equals cos x. Okay. The last graph, all right, the last graph, which is the tan graph. So the sine graph and the cos graph, all right, are the graphs that I like the best because they follow the same kind of pattern. They look good. They're all fine. Okay. The cos graph is the graph it's on its own. Okay, it's on its own vibe, does its own thing. The tan graph. So let's go look at the tan graph. I'm going to draw the tan graph down here. All right. I've still got an x-axis. I've still got a y-axis. I'm doing -1 and I'm doing -1, guys. Okay. I'm going to 180 and I'm going to -180. That's all good. All right. And I'll do the same thing again. Okay. I'll do the same thing again. I'll do 90. Okay. And I'll do -90. So that's fine. I'll do the same intervals that we used before. All right. So let's have a look at what happens if I do the tan graph now and I put those same things in. Okay, let's go try. All right. I'm also missing a 0. So what I'd like you guys to do first is I'd like you to help me out in the chat again. Okay. All right. I'd like you to help me out. Oh, you guys are on fire. Well done. I'm just checking to see if you're awake. You are completely right. This should be 1, not -1. Just checking that you're awake. Thanks, everybody. Just checking. Okay, so on your calculators, do tan 0 for me. So start by doing tan 0. Okay, what do you get? Well done, you get 0. Okay, let's do this guy in green. Let's do this graph in green. Tan 0 gives you 0. Cool. All right, go do tan of 90 for me and see what your calculator tells you. Do tan 90. Well done, I'm seeing error. Error. All right, okay. So tan of 90 degrees gives you an error, math error. Cool, all right. Tan of 90 degrees gives you math error. That's because we call the tan of 90 degrees, okay? An asymptote. Good, it's an asymptote at 90 degrees. Well done. Oh my gosh, can already see that your Nelly is super proud of you. I don't know if you guys can see her here in the chat, but she is clapping. She's going wild there. I can see her on the video. Nelly, well done, guys. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so your 90 degrees is an asymptote. What does that mean? It means that we draw this dotted line at 90 degrees. So when you are doing tan graphs and you see math error, okay, and you see math error, that means that you haven't made a mistake, okay? You haven't made a mistake. It means that well done, it can't be touched, all right? You can't touch that 90-degree line. That's what that means, well done. It means that that tan graph can't touch 90 degrees. Cool. If you go and do tan of 180, so let's go do tan 180 now. Do tan 180 for me on your calculators, please. That's right, you get 0 again. Tan 180 gives you 0. Guys, can I draw anything yet? I can't draw anything up. I can't cross that 0 line. So there's nothing that I can draw yet. No, well done. There's nothing I can draw. Let's go the other side in the meantime. Go put tan, open brackets, negative 90 degrees, close brackets on your calculator for me, please. Go put tan, open brackets, negative 90, maths error, error, also known as a good chemo and asymptote. Well done. So here, we're going to have another asymptote. Good. All right, another asymptote. Well done. Tan of negative 180. What's tan of negative 180? Good. Well done. All right. So can I draw anything yet? Okay. Can I draw anything yet? I can't draw anything. There's nothing I can draw yet. Nothing. Okay, I can't draw anything yet. All right. So what do I need to do for the tan graph? What did we say earlier? Okay, Melissa was telling you in the chat. What did we say earlier? Okay, Melissa told you in the chat earlier. What did we need to do when we have a tan graph? Do we do it in 90 degrees? Do we do it in 90 degrees? What do we do it in instead of using 90 degrees? What comes between the 0 and the 90s, guys? What should we do it in instead? Good, well done, Caitlin. We need to go put a 45 degree in there instead. Okay, so we need to go through in a 45, and in between 90 and 180, what's in between those two? A 135. Here will be a negative 45. Here will be a negative 135. Okay, so calculators now. Tan of 45 degrees. What's tan of 45 degrees, please? What's tan of 45 degrees? Good. Tan of 45 degrees is 1. What's tan of negative 45 degrees? Negative 1. Good. So now this one, oh, let's go put this in the right color that we had him in here. We had him in green. So this graph looks kind of weird. He's never, ever going to touch this asymptote. He's going to go into negative 1, onto 0, through 1, and never, ever touch that asymptote. Okay. What is tan of 135 degrees? What's tan of 135 degrees, guys? Negative 1. Good. So he's never, ever going to touch that asymptote. He's going to go through there and up. All right. What's tan of negative 135 degrees? 1. Good. He's never, ever going to touch that asymptote. He's going to go through there and out. Okay. Somebody's asking me, is it not supposed to be straight, right? No, the tan graphs aren't really straight. They kind of curved. It's kind of hard to do with this pen, but they kind of go like curved lines, and this pen's not really letting me do it, but it's kind of like a curved line, guys. It's a curved line. Okay. All right. Okay, Leah, put your hand up for me so I can see your question. Your question must be lost somewhere in the chat. Somewhere in the chat. Okay, so Leah, if you put your hand up, I can see your question. I see that you say that I'm not answering your questions, but I can't see what your question is. So maybe put your hand up and then I can answer your question, Leah. If you want to put your hand up for me so you can answer a question. Leah. Ah, okay, hold on, Leah. I see your question way ago. Okay, what about the period cycles, ma'am? All right, so that's our next question, Leah. So the next question says to us, okay, what is the period of? So that's your next question that you guys need to go and answer. So the next question is, what is the period of y is equal to sine x, y is equal to cos x, and y is equal to tan x? So now we're looking for the periods. Okay, now we're looking for the periods. All right, Leah, I'm hoping that that was the question that you're wanting me to answer. All right, because you say you lost. Okay, so hopefully that's what we're going to answer now. All right, what is the period of y is equal to sine x? Who can tell me, okay, what does it mean when they ask you for what is the period? Who can tell me? What are they asking for? What are they asking for when they're asking about period of a graph? What are they asking for, guys? Okay, what are they asking for when they're asking for periods? Somebody's saying the coordinates. Somebody's saying the time. Anyone else? Anyone else who wants to explain it? All right, the way it slopes, okay? Distance, the turning points. All right, so when we're looking at the period, okay, we're looking at, all right, good, how long it takes to make a wave. Well done, Ntando. That's amazing. You got this. Okay, so how long does this graph take to make a complete wave? Well done, Ntando. That's a very good way of asking or saying it. All right, so when we're looking at the period of a graph, it means how long does it take to make a complete wave, which is exactly what Ntando says here. All right, so for y is equal to sine x, this one over here, okay? For this one, the period of this graph, even though we're looking between negative 180 and 180, the period of y is equal to sine x. I'm hoping, Yonela, that you're giving me the answer here. Yonela, do you have the answer for me? Yonela, you should be able to unmute yourself. Okay, maybe not. All right, so for the period for y is equal to sine x, the period will be 360 degrees. Okay, so the period for y is equal to sine x is 360 degrees. All right. B, what's the period of the cos graph? What's the period of the cos graph going to be, guys? If the period of the sine graph was 360, good. The period of the cos graph is 360 degrees. Well done. Nice. Now, the tan graph. This way it comes a little bit tricky. What's the period of the tan graph going to be? If I look at the tan graph, we're quite lucky because even though, all right, even though they made us do like a limited tan graph, okay, we still did it from negative 180 to 180, which was actually 360 when we look at it in total. So absolutely, one whole tan graph here is over here is going between negative 90 and 90, which is, like everybody's telling me there in the chat, well done, guys, 180 degrees. Well done. Yo, grade 10s on fire. Well done. All right. Next one. What is the amplitude of a sine graph? What does amplitude mean? Who can tell us? What does amplitude mean now? What does amplitude mean? You are right, Rafiel, aware that amplitude is 1, but what does it mean? What does amplitude mean? Good. How high the graph goes or how low it is going. Okay, so amplitude, okay, is how high is it going? Good. The distance from equilibrium to crest. Woo, that's a fancy way of saying it. Well done. All right. So when we're looking at the amplitude, normally a good way to look at the amplitude, remember I said to you guys earlier on, what's this number that's hiding before this x? There's a 1. What's this number that's hiding before this x? It's a 1. So what's the amplitude here of the sine graph? It's 1. What's the amplitude of the cos graph? It's 1. Okay. Well done. Well done, guys. Well done. All right. We have done a lot of maths. Well done. We have done a lot of maths. Guys didn't get to have a brain break, so I'm really proud of you. Well done. We did have a few issues with the screen and stuff. I'm really sorry about that, but you guys coped really, really well. Well done. Well done, grade 10s. All right. Remember, tonight's your quiz night, just as a reminder. So remember, try not to log off before then. I'm seeing some people are telling me you're having some network problems. Some people are about to go into load shedding. So Melissa, is it possible that maybe we could put the quiz link in for everybody before they go into load shedding? Oh. I think maybe we might have lost Melissa also for load shedding. Yes. Okay. I think maybe, yes, Melissa, are you still with me? I think maybe we've lost Melissa with load shedding. Okay, guys. All right. So tonight is your quiz night. Where can we find the quiz link, even if we don't, if Melissa doesn't make it back, okay, to give you that link? That link can be found, all right, on Watobe's site. So I want to remind you that where can you find the link, okay? Where can you find the link? You can find the link on Watobe's site, okay? So please make sure that you go and you do the quiz for tonight. All right, I am really sorry. I do not have the link at the moment, but Melissa hopefully will be back before we log off so that she can give you that link, but it will be on Watobe's site for you guys, the same place where you log in. All right, it can also probably be found on the app as well, and that's where you'll be able to get it. Okay. All right, let us have a look. Okay, somebody's saying to me, you must log in with Toby and enter your username and password and start the quiz. I would presume so, Leah. Hopefully Nalissa will be back in time to give you guys that link as well. All right, guys. So let's have a look at what else your teacher had in your lesson for this evening. So I know she had a beat the basic brain break for you guys. She does not. I think maybe it hasn't loaded up for you. All right, let's see what else she had here. She has the following graphs have been drawn below for 0 degrees to 360 degrees. She's drawn a tan graph for you, and she's got a sine graph for you there. All right. Let's make it a bit bigger. So there's a tan graph and a sine graph. What I would suggest, okay, is I would go and I would take a screenshot of that. So using your phone or on your computer, okay, go and take a screenshot of that, guys. Go and take a screenshot because we're nearing the end and I want to make sure that you get as much practice for exams as possible. So take a screenshot of that. All right. Use the graphs to answer the following questions. Now, what are you going to do to help you answer these questions? What are you going to do to help you answer these questions? You're going to use the Watobe bot if you get stuck. Okay, so take a screenshot. Make sure you've got them down. All right, make sure you've got them down. Ma'am, please go down. I want to take a screenshot. Of course I will. I'm going to make it a little bit smaller for you. Maybe you'll be able to get the whole question on that way. There you go.